Good morning, children. Beta, please give me this book. Thank you. You've seen an activity, a very small activity in which I have demanded a book from my son, and he had given me the book. Now, this, my voice, my plea, please give me the book, is the stimulus, and my son has responded to the stimulus by giving me the book. So, in our life, all actions in our body that we show, that our body show, are actually the responses to the different stimulus. And all these responses are being controlled by a special tissue in our body called as the nervous tissue. So, my dear children, today we will study the basics about the nervous tissue. So, the learning objectives of today's study is to explain the features of nervous tissue and to draw the structure of the basic unit of the nervous tissue. Since it's a tissue, so it will be made up of cells. So the basic unit of the nervous tissue, that is the neuron, also called as the nerve cell. So start with features, as we have studied here, that it's a tissue which shows responses to the stimulus, whether external or internal. External, that means we see something, we hear something, we feel something, and internal means digestion, various physiological functions that our body performs, such as digestion, excretion, respiration, etc. So all these external and internal responses are being shown by this tissue that is called as the nervous tissue. Now, in our body, the nervous tissue is organized in the form of certain organs, and these organs are, we have got the brain in the head region, and from the brain arises the spinal cord. So the nervous tissue is concentrated in the brain, in the spinal cord. From the brain arises the nerves. Similarly, from the spinal cord also arises the nerves. So all these nerves, they also come under the category of the organs containing the nervous tissue. So two properties: they respond towards the stimulus and they transmit the stimulus also. They transmit the stimulus, that is the main property. They receive the stimulus and any command from the external or internal sources, and they have got the capacity to transmit this stimulus, and this transmission is possible due to the structure called as the neuron. So our second objective is to draw the structure and understand the structure of the nerve cell, that is the neuron. So neurons are the cells which make up the nervous tissue in the brain, in the spinal cord, and in the nerves. So each neuron is fiber-like. We have done in 8th class that it's an elongated structure, and each neuron, it consists of a cell body. Just observe that how the diagram is being made. Just draw a dotted circle, and within the dotted circle, just make such type of branches. So each nerve cell, it consists of a cell body, expanded cell body, just we can erase the in-between circle. Yes. So this expanded cell body, it is called as cell body, or we also call it as soma. and from the cell body contain nucleus. Since it's a cell, it contains nucleus and cytoplasm in it. The cytoplasm of nerve cell is typically called as this is nucleus and this is cytoplasm. It is typically called as neuroplasm. From the cell body arises many short branches. These branches are called as dendrites. Dendrites. They are called as dendrites, small branches. And one branch is quite long. These are the smaller branches. And one branch is quite long and it runs along the central axis of the nerve cell. Since it runs around the central axis, it is called as axon. So actually the neuron, it appears to be made up of two parts, the cell body, expanded part, and elongated part, that is called as axon. The axon then terminates into small branches which are called as the terminal nerve endings. Simply nerve endings or terminal nerve endings. The terminal part of the nerve endings is swollen part that we will do in 10th class. What is the significance of these swollen parts? So once again, expanded part called as the cell body or soma. It has got nucleus, it has got cytoplasm in it. And the branched part, the smaller branches are called as the dendrites. And one long branch that runs along the central axis of the cell is called as the axon. So the dendrites, they receive the stimulus. They receive the stimulus from the outer environment and then give it to the cell body, and the cell body transmit it through the axon. Transmitted through the axon. So the information that is transmitted, suppose this is the information that is being taken by the dendrites from all over the environment. The information is then transmitted along with the neuron, and this transmission of information is called as nerve impulse. The transmission of the information through the neuron is called as the nerve impulse. Now there is a very beautiful mechanism. We just want that the rate of transmission of nerve impulse should be faster. So there is an insulating layer that is present around the axon. A cell get associated with the axon and start secreting the fatty substance around itself, so that the complete part at interval is being covered by this fatty tissue. At intervals, it is being covered by this fatty tissue. So this fatty tissue forms a discontinuous sheath. That sheath is called as myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. So myelin sheath acts as an insulating sheath. So whenever the nerve impulse comes from the upper side, it just passes to this part of the axon and then jumps and pass to this point, then again jump and pass to this side, and then again jump and pass to this point. So in this jumping mechanism, the rate of transmission of the nerve impulse becomes faster. So this is a special feature that is associated with some neuron, and the point where this sheath is absent, here the sheath is absent. So this point is called as the node of Renouvier. After the name of the discoverer, the node of Renouvier. So the node of Renouvier increases the rate of transmission of the nerve impulse. So this was the structure of neuron, a fabulous unit that is present in our nervous tissue that is responsible for receiving the stimuli and responding to it. So, in our body, typically in the case of vertebrates, we have got a beautiful combination of the nervous tissue as well as that of the muscular tissue, and both the tissues they work in coordination so as to bring about many activities which are very unique to the animals only. So, my dear children, that finishes with our topic, that is the animal tissue. So, I hope that you are now familiar with the different features and the types of epithelial tissues, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and today we have done the nervous tissue. Please do revise them thoroughly and practice the diagrams which are associated with these tissue so that you are able to grasp the topic fully. Thank you.